the Champions League ban. Now, the appeal has already gone, and we're expecting an announcement on that in the first 2 weeks of July, whether it's going to be upheld for 2 years, whether it's going to be halved, whether it's not going to happen at all. So let's just say that the ban is upheld for at least 1 year. What can we expect from Manchester City in the Premier League the rest of the season? Will it be having an eye now on other competitions, say the Champions League, which is going to be recommencing in August, a competition they're still in?
I think they will, of course. You know, this for the owners of Manchester City, obviously the first thing was winning the Premier League, and now it's all about being the champions of Europe 2 or 3 times in the next 6 or 7 seasons to take themselves. Because whether you like it or not, Liverpool, Manchester United are much bigger on a global scale than Manchester City. To go to that next level, Manchester City have got to win the Champions League a couple of times, or they've got to sign Messi or Ronaldo, whoever, or Mbappe, somebody like that, to get anywhere near the sort of fan base that Liverpool and Manchester United have. So the Champions League is vitally important. They'll go all out to win it, I believe, this season, whenever that restarts and that happens. But next season, if they're not in the Champions League, with that extra, well, what is it, 16 lesser games, we've seen Chelsea win the league, you know, with not having to compete in the Champions League. We've seen Leicester do it. We've seen teams do very, very well because you don't have to rotate your squad. Players are that little bit fitter. And that would be a huge worry for everybody else. If City don't have Champions League football, everything will be about winning the Premier League again.
But the flip side is, would you be able to still attract players if you don't have Champions League football? Kevin De Bruyne has already spoken up about a lack of it and the fact that he's in the prime of his career. If they're banned for 2 years, he'll probably have to seriously think about his future.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The best players in the world, they get paid an absolute fortune anyway. They want to go and win trophies. You know, and what's going to happen to Pep? I mean, when Pep went to Manchester City, in my opinion, you know, it was to win the Premier League, yes, but it was to take them to the next level, to win the trophy that they haven't won before, and that is the Champions League. And the issue they've got this season still, I still think that, you know, on their day, they can absolutely thump anybody. But we've seen the nature of the way they defend this season, the cheap goals they give away, and that's been the issue with City for the last however many years in the Champions League. They have a soft centre. And, you know, they're beating Madrid, but Madrid have started the Liga back. They've started pretty well. And that'll be a real test for them. So it's certainly not a gimme that game.
Before City have the fifth best defence in the Premier League. That's not good enough. You're never going to win the league. You know, to win the league, you have to be, you know, the top 1 and 2 in terms of goal scoring. But you also need to be in the top 1, 2, possibly 3 defensively. You've got to be good at both ends. City haven't been that. I would say the only caveat to City not maybe having to sell because of the Champions League, because of what's happened and lockdown, the transfer windows might be a little bit odd. They might be a little bit skewed. Not as many people will have maybe as much money to go out and spend. It won't just look right. So can players leave Manchester City? Do other teams have enough money to take those players off their hands in transfer fees, in wages? So if it's only a year ban, City players might go, right, okay, we'll accept it for a year, and then we'll go again the year after. But if it's upheld as a 2-year ban, I think that could cause problems for City and players thinking, well, I'm not sure I can wait around for 3 years to have another crack at it.
Can I also ask, sorry, go on, Chris.
I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, if City, if this ban is upheld, if Pep actually goes, it wouldn't surprise me at all. You know, he's there to take them to the next level and win the Champions League. You know, why does he want to hang around and waste his time? If the top players want to leave as well, that's, you know, we touched on that. That is understandable. If you're a top player, you want to give yourself every opportunity of winning the big trophies. And if that 2-year ban is upheld, then, you know, De Bruyne, Sterling, they'll get offers from other clubs because they're top.
And it's not, and absolutely, it's not. People got about loyalty, but it's not the players' fault. It's not like they finished 5th in the league and then suddenly they're not in the Champions League and you say, well, actually, the players have failed. Why should they then walk away? The players have got them to 2nd wherever they finish in the league, or they might even win the Champions League, and then they might not be in it next season. So I think, you know, in those circumstances, because it's not in control of the players, yes, it would be understandable if a few of them want to leave.
But you're mentioning Pep as well there, Chris. Before we hear from him, what's your take on that it will affect his legacy. He couldn't do it at Bayern Munich. He took over a side that were the reigning European champions there, and he was unable to get that trophy. Yes, he did fantastic in the Bundesliga, setting all sorts of records, but he was never able to lift the European Cup with them. He's only been able to do it with Barcelona. He's only done it with Messi in his side. That's one thing that's always been a thorn in his side. Look at Mourinho and what he's done.
Yeah, and Pep is a perfectionist, isn't he? You know, he won't feel complete, in my opinion, until he's won a Champions League with Manchester City. But you know, if this ban is upheld, it changes the whole landscape. You know, he may get other offers. You know what? Why would he want to stay and hang around and just win domestic trophies? That's the goal. The Champions League is the goal, and without that, then you know what? Why would he stay? He's going to lose. You know, he will lose some of his best players. They won't want to hang around. It'll be a different club.